Farming, quite possibly the most relaxing activity on Hypixel Skyblock. No need to deal with the endless stress of failing the tic-tac-toe or blaze puzzle and being bullied by your dungeon teammates until you cry. Forget entirely about the annoying Lapis Nons who can't seem to comprehend that you don't in fact need their help on your tier 4 Tarantula boss. Even the item beggars that spam incessantly for free stuff in the hub can't reach you when you're farming peacefully on your island. In a sea of the unrelenting toxic grinds that exist on Hypixel Skyblock, farming stands alone as the serene escape from it all. So naturally, the admins decided that this was a problem that needed fixing and introduced ranked farming. High-octane competitions occurring each hour that pit your farming skills against the rest of the Hypixel Skyblock community, and based on your performance in these competitions, you'll receive a varying degree of reward for your efforts. Now you can wallow in your sorrow as you collect endless bronze and silver participation medals while Skyblock's sweatiest players laugh in farming 60 and legendary elephant pets, hoarding every last gold medal in existence. All jokes aside though, this update's actually a really cool one, and even the more casual Skyblock players can still get a lot of benefits out of it. While some of the content, such as the 10 new farming levels, is locked behind being able to achieve gold medal status, most of it's achievable at a slower pace through bronze and silver medals. Now, you might be asking, Rage, this update definitely sounds cool and all, but how does this relate to your hard mode profile? And my answer to that is very simple. Money. You see, up until this point in my series, money has often been a key issue, whether it be affording the latest dungeon item or just simply changing the reforges on my gear. Without access to the Bazaar auction house, making coins at a fast pace and in a reliable way seemed impossible. I did eventually figure out that I could farm Cane and make around 800 to 900,000 coins an hour, but with the newest dungeon items costing upwards of like 10 to 15 million coins, this meant I was having to grind for many hours just to afford these items. But this farming update changed all of that. While the price of sugarcane to the NPC is still sitting at a lowly 2 coins, this update brought with it a slew of new items that vastly increased the amount of crops you can obtain. And the item that I had my sights set on in particular was the Turing sugarcane hoe, a hoe that when maxed out could theoretically more than double, maybe even triple the amount of cane that I was currently getting. But getting this hoe wasn't going to be an easy undertaking. Not only does its crafting recipe require 4 stacks of enchanted sugarcane, but it also requires a bunch of the new items that can only be obtained from competing and performing well in the farming competitions. Nevertheless, I had already committed to obtaining this hoe, so I got to work. First, in order to craft the most basic version of this new hoe, I would need to obtain a gold medal, and while I certainly had no chance of getting one of those from just one event, there's a handy little feature that allows 4 silver medals to be exchanged for 1 gold. So I competed in a bunch of different cocoa bean, potato, and sugarcane competitions until I had finally obtained 4 silver medals and was able to get the blueprint for this hoe. Now, the only thing standing in between me and this insanely overpowered farming item was a lot, and I mean a lot, of sugarcane farming. Because on top of the hoe needing to be upgraded with the materials that I mentioned before, you also need to farm millions of cane in order to upgrade its abilities. But I've never been one to be scared of a long grind, so I just continued farming. Unfortunately, it was at this point that this already very challenging grind decided to get even more difficult. Because for some reason, my internet had decided that this would be the perfect time to just stop working altogether. Eventually getting so bad that I was disconnecting from Hypixel every 3 to 5 minutes, and farming sugarcane looked a little something like this. And while this lag certainly slowed down the productivity of my farming, it was still somewhat manageable to progress like this, so I just pushed on. And then finally, after nearly 3 days of this type of endless lag, my internet was miraculously fixed and my farming journey truly began. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Hypixel Skyblock Hard Mode series. And I have been blessed. My internet is restored. Oh my god, it feels so good to be able to play without getting disconnected like every 2 to 3 minutes. And for anyone who might be interested, it turns out the reason my internet was running so slowly for like 3 or 4 days in a row was apparently there was just some dude in my neighborhood like literally using up all of the bandwidth, so my entire street had trash internet. So, you know, yeah, that's nice. Anyways, though, as always, want to start off this episode by saying a big thank you to every single person who has subscribed since the last episode. We are, of course, still trying to hit the big 100k subscribers by the end of this year. So, if you guys are enjoying the series, want to keep up to date with it, and haven't already, please do consider making that red button turn gray. Anyways, though, to start us off here today, let me go ahead and give you guys a rundown of where we currently stand in terms of trying to get this maxed out sugarcane hoe. Now, on the enchanted sugarcane front, I am not doing too shabby. I'm a little bit over halfway there. You can see I have 2 stacks already in my chest here, and then I have 15 in my inventory. And I'm in a pretty similar situation with the Jacob's tickets as well. I have 2 stacks and 23 at the moment. But yeah, I honestly thought the Jacob's ticket portion was going to be a lot easier than it's ended up being. As you can see, I've done quite a few events here, mostly sugarcane ones, obviously. But I'm pretty much always either just getting the bronze or silver medal, which means I only end up with another 10 or 15 Jacob's tickets per event. And then in terms of the stats on my current sugarcane hoe, you can see my counter is right at about 3 million sugarcane. But the thing that's kind of scary about that is I think I may have underestimated how long 10 million is going to take, because I farmed for like 5 hours yesterday. So that means I probably still have like another 10 to 12 hours of farming remaining before I hit 10 mil. But this is Hypixel Skyblock, of course, so I would not expect to get any item without a very long grind. But yeah, I think that pretty much recaps where I'm at the moment. I guess one other thing I'll show you guys is that my current farming level is 35, although I'm getting pretty close to 36 now. And so now what I want to go ahead and do is see where I stand in terms of money making with my current setup. So for reference, before, when I was using my rookie hoe here, I was probably getting about 850 to 900k per hour in cane. So I'm gonna do a classic Ragetrain experiment here, farm for 15 minutes, and we'll see what we end up with. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, and that is 15 minutes right there. I ended up with 7 enchanted sugarcane. So now I'm actually not gonna sell this, obviously, because I want to save all the enchanted sugarcane I get towards upgrading the hoe. But I'm just gonna see how much I could sell it for if I wanted to, because obviously making money is our main goal with this. So it would sell for 358,400 coins, which actually that is super good. That means over a full hour I would make 1.3 million coins. So already this setup right here is like a 50% improvement in money over what I was getting before, which, as I've mentioned multiple times, any way to make more money on this series is like crazy helpful. So I'm pumped about that. And now the sad thing is, one of the biggest things holding me back right now is the fact that I'm using a rabbit pet instead of a legendary elephant pet, because at max level, the legendary elephant's third perk gives plus 50% double drop chance. The good news is, though, I do have just like barely enough money, I think, to cover the 15 million coin cost of the legendary elephant, and I think it should appear in Aringo's Traveling Zoo again, either on this one like 5 days from now or on this one 7 days from now. So I'm definitely going to make sure to be there to buy it whenever it does show up. Okay guys, so now for a bit of a progress update. I am getting very close to the halfway point on the counter here. You can see I'm at 4.5 million out of 10 million sugarcane for that +1 rarity, and then obviously to get that logarithmic counter up another 16% bonus. But now that I'm no longer lagging while farming, I'm running into a bit of an issue here where my 2 layers aren't quite enough. I mean, you can see here, it looks like it's pretty much fully grown back, but there's definitely some spots missing. And so I think the smartest thing for me to do here is going to be to make that final half layer that I know I need to make it infinite. I'm just so tired of building farms that I really didn't want it to come down to this, but there has never been a better time to build a farm now with all these new tools. Unfortunately, some of the really OP stuff like this Hoe of Greater Tilling and Basket of Seeds won't work with sugarcane, so those don't help me out at all. But I can still make use of this Infinidurt wand that only costs 1 Jacob's ticket, and the Prisma pumps that only cost a bronze medal and 2 Jacob's tickets. Now, the other item that would be insanely helpful for me is obviously the Builder's wand here, but that costs 12,000 bits. I only have 800 left from my free booster cookie, and there's no way for me to get any more, so I'm kind of just out of luck there. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead, purchase this Infinidurt wand, purchase these 4 Prisma pumps, and I'll go ahead and get to work on making this final half layer of the sugarcane farm, and I will update you guys on how long it took me to do it. And there we go. Holy crap, guys. This ended up taking so much longer than I thought it was going to. I thought, you know, like maybe hour and a half, since I'm only doing a half layer, there with the Infinidirt and Prisma pumps, I thought, it's going to go super quick. But those tools did not speed up the process as much as I thought they were going to. It really sucks that I had to manually plant all of the cane, and then also that I didn't have the builder's wand. I think that would have helped just a ton. But in total, ended up putting in probably about 2.5 hours just to build this like 60, maybe 70% of a layer. The good news is now, should never have to build any more sugarcane farm ever again. This should be enough to be infinite. So yeah, now I can get back to working on actually just farming the sugarcane. So more grinding, here we go, yay. Okay guys, so just hit a huge milestone. If I open up this chest here, you will see I'm officially at 4 stacks of enchanted cane, which means I now have enough to craft the max upgraded version of this Turing sugarcane hoe. Obviously, I also need 4 stacks of Jacob's tickets, but in my ender chest here, I have 3 stacks and 51, and I believe if I go to Jacob right now, I should have another like 20 or 30 to claim. And yet, boom, there we go. I had a silver medal and a bronze medal, both from sugarcane to claim. So that's another 25 Jacob's tickets. All right, let's craft this thing. Now, hopefully in the end, this ends up paying off, because right here, these 4 stacks of enchanted sugarcane would be 13 million coins into my bank right now if I were to sell them to the NPC. But I'm making the long-term investment in this sugarcane hoe here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Oh my god, that was an expensive craft. But right off the bat with this thing, I should be getting like an extra 60 to 70% sugarcane. So I'm already going to be going much, much faster, which is only going to help in getting to that 10 million sugarcane on the counter. And on top of that, like I said, this is the maxed out version of the hoe, which means any sugarcane I get from this point forward, I can sell to the NPC and actually start to make myself a little bit of money. So that's going to be nice as well. But there actually is still one more upgrade I can make to this thing, because obviously I've been collecting a lot of Turbo Cane 1 books by doing some competitions, and currently I only have Turbo Cane 3 on this hoe. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this thing to Turbo Cane 4 as well. So now like the lore on the top of the text is totally getting cut off, but you can barely see at the top that it's going to go to plus 20%. So let's apply that baby. Now obviously the max version of Turbo Cane is Turbo Cane 5, but unfortunately I can't even use that book on my hoe until I get a gold medal in a sugarcane contest. And I don't think I'm going to have any shot at that until I get like an elephant pet at the very least, because the requirement for the gold medal has been at like 400,000 cane in 20 minutes, and I'm getting like 220, 230k. Anyways guys, I think now is going to be the perfect time to do an updated experiment and see how much cane I can get in 15 minutes to kind of get an estimate of how much I could be making per hour. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes and let's go. All right, 15 minutes is up, and in that 15 minutes, I got almost exactly 8 enchanted sugarcane here. So let me head to the hub and see how much this is worth. Now, before, I think towards the beginning of the video when I did my first test, I think it worked out to about 1.2 to 1.3 million coins per hour I would have been making. So that right there is worth 409,000. Okay, so that means I'm up to about 1.6 to 1.7 million coins an hour. That is pretty much double of what I was getting before this farming update came out. So that's completely insane. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and get back to farming. I'm really trying to hit this 10 million counter, because not only is that gonna upgrade the logarithmic counter ability, but it's obviously gonna also give me that +1 rarity and make this hoe a legendary version. So yeah, I guess it's back to the grind for me.
One eternity later.
Okay, and finally, many hours of farming later, you can see I'm now at 9,999,000 sugarcane on my counter. So one of these upcoming hits here should be the final one. I think it's taken a little bit of time to update or something, okay? Like 300 away, and come on, one of these hits, come on, we're like 20 away, boom, there we go. It is now legendary, 10 million sugarcane farmed. So that upgrades my blessed bonus at the bottom to plus 16% chance for double crops, and my logarithmic counter adds another plus 16% onto that bonus. But now, unfortunately, even after all of that, I am still not yet done, because legendary hoe down there was not the goal. The goal for this is mythic hoe. So there is one last item I need to acquire in order to complete our mission. And that item, of course, is the Recombobulator 3000. Now, how exactly are you going to get that item, you may be asking me? Well, for my Floor 2 Boss Collection Scarf, you can see I'm currently at 139 runs. So if I can get that number up to 250, I will get a Recombobulator 3000 for free. Now, that still is another 111 dungeon runs that I'm gonna have to complete, so hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I'm thinking ideally I should be able to do a floor 2 in like, 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So yeah, most likely this is gonna be like another 8 to 9 hours of grinding dungeons that I'm gonna need to put in to get this Recombobulator 3000, but I've probably already put in well over like 24 hours into straight up farming sugarcane to get this counter up to 10 million. So I guess another 8 to 9 hours shouldn't be that bad. But before I get to work on those, one very nice thing that is going to come out of all this grinding is that I can sell all of that enchanted sugarcane from like the last 4 million cane, I think it was, since I upgraded this to the max version of the hoe. So I am going to come away with a clean 8 million coins from all that cane, which is very nice. Because that is going to put my bank balance back at a healthy 17 million coins, which will be more than enough to afford that legendary elephant pet. And I think that that pet should be showing up at this next traveling zoo here in about 19 hours. So I mean, I originally didn't think I was going to be able to include the purchase of the legendary elephant pet into this video, but with how long it's taken me to do all this farming now, I guess I might be able to. But yeah, anyways, I guess it's going to be time for me to start farming floor 2, so let's get to it. Alright guys, so I still need to complete another 80 or so floor 2 runs in order to get that Recombobulator 3000, but Oringo has now arrived and he does have the legendary elephant, which is super hype. Thankfully, the 8 stacks of enchanted dark oak wood that I also need to get it were super easy to farm up, only took around an hour or so. So now I need to go ahead and just withdraw 15 million coins from my bank. Holy crap, that is a lot, man. I'm gonna be down to only 2.2 million coins, but hopefully in the long run, this purchase is going to be worth it because that third perk on the legendary elephant is gonna help me make more money from sugarcane. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, boom! Legendary elephant acquired. Holy crap. 15 million coins gone. But yeah, there we go. Definitely gonna need to level this thing up in a little bit now, but I think for the time being, I'm just gonna get back to grinding floor 2s for that Recombobulator 3000. Alright, so bit of an update here, guys. I literally feel like I'm starting to go insane from doing these floor 2 runs. Thankfully, I only have 15 left until I get the Recombobulator. But yeah, this has been a nightmare. I have no idea how people run this many dungeons. I think part of the reason it's driving me insane though is because I'm getting almost nothing out of these runs. Like these 2 scarf studies right here are all I've gotten from chests in 96 runs. I mean, I guess I've also gotten a lot of wither essence. I'm currently at like 3,000. But yeah, still, man, my brain is melting from doing these things. When I first set out on this journey of getting a mythic hoe, I did not know what I was getting myself into. But I am just going to power through these last 15 runs. So yeah, I'll see you guys when the pain and suffering is over. Alright guys, this should be it right here. Run number 250. I'm just gonna wait for the thing to click over. Yes, there we go. Boss collection level up, scarf 4 to 5, reward Recombobulator 3000. Finally, and we ended off with an S at well in a 4-minute run. Very nice, very nice. Maybe I can pull a scarf studies. Oh, I did out of the obsidian chest. Let's go, dude. What a way to end it off. 500k for a scarf studies is a lot, but I rarely see these things anymore, so I will 100% take that. Holy crap, let me go grab this Recombobulator, man. I cannot believe this pain is finally over. Oh my god. Alright, so here we go, guys. Take my legendary hoe. Take the Recombobulator 3000. I cannot believe I just did all those runs to try and create a mythic hoe of all things, but I really did that. Anyways, here we go. 3, 2, 1... Boom! The mythic hoe has been created. Holy crap, look at that. Bless bonus now gives plus 20% chance for double drops. Okay, and there we go. I turned my GUI scale down for a second just so we can see that beautiful nameplate at the top there. Blessed Turing Sugarcane Hoe in that pink color. Holy crap, I have put so much time into grinding this thing. This is insane to me. Now, originally, this was going to be the final version of the setup that I was going to see how much cane, how much money I could make in like an hour, theoretically. But, of course, this whole process took so long that I managed to buy the legendary elephant pet from Oringo. So to make that final test even better, I feel like I need to get this legendary elephant pet to, a fair level, like, at least level 50, 60, something like that. So let me head to the banker over here. Oh my god, I am so broke, and I think this thing costs like 800 or 900,000 coins, doesn't it? But anyways, the thing I want to buy for the elephant pet is, of course, the 40% farming pet XP boost. Okay, great. It only costs 500,000 coins, so now I'm only going to be left with 900,000 coins in my bank. Holy crap, this sugarcane meta better make me a ton ton of money, man, or we just went like millions upon millions of coins into the hole for absolutely no reason. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and farm sugarcane until this thing hits like level 50 or 60. So yeah, back to grinding once again. Okay, finally, took me like an hour, but got the legendary elephant pet to level 50. So now it is finally time for the ultimate test of this video. A level 50 legendary elephant pet, the most maxed out version of this mythico that I could possibly get. I even put a bunch of time into like making the perfect armor setup for speed here. I'm at 257 at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 15 minutes and let's start farming. All right guys, and the results of the 15 minutes of farming with this insane setup are now in. And I decided to come to the hub here to reveal the results to you guys so that I could just immediately sell the cane so you can see how much money it's going to translate to. But here we go. I'll pop open the mine merchant, and yes, 11 enchanted sugarcane in 15 minutes. So if I sell everything that we got there, in 15 minutes, I made 564,000 coins, which that times 4, if I were to farm cane for a full hour, comes out to about 2.25 million coins per hour, which is completely ridiculous. Before this farming update came out, before all these crazy new tools and crazy new setups and everything, that's like more than 2.5 times as much as I was getting before from farming cane. And the even crazier part is I can still improve that by leveling up my farming level. At the moment, I'm only 37. Obviously, my elephant pet is only like halfway to max level, so that can get better. And even on top of that, the Anita NPC will sell extra farming drops in exchange for gold medal, and I think if you max this all the way out, you can get like another plus 30% chance for double drops. But it's like crazy expensive to max it all the way out, so I don't see myself getting more than probably like an extra 10% from this one. But regardless, the point of all that is that I can get even better than this. I can probably get up to 2.5 million coins, maybe even 3 million coins per hour just from farming cane. So yeah, 30 plus hours of farming cane and farming dungeons. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think it might have actually been worth it. But yeah, anyways guys, I think that is a great spot to go ahead and end off today's episode. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode of this series, where I will probably do something very stupid once again. See you guys then. Peace.